I'm going to teach you about perfect square trinomials. Okay, the first example is factor 9x squared plus 24xy plus 16y squared. Now, when dealing with perfect square trinomials, you have to put the original equation and transform it into this formula. So, with the first step, it's telling me 9x squared, it wants me to transfer into something squared, which is a squared. So, for the 9x squared, I would put 3x in the parentheses to the second power, because 3 squared equals 9 and x squared equals x squared. So, from over here, I use the a. Now, with this 24xy, I need to find out a number, two numbers multiplied together that would also be multiplied by 2 to equal this. So 3x multiplied by 4y is 12xy. Now, see this equation? You need to put the 2 on the outside of these two numbers. So 12xy multiplied by 2 equals 24xy. Now, with the last term, just like with 9x squared, we had to find something to square, which is a squared. We do the same thing, but we're going to call this b squared. So, I can put 4y in here because 4 squared is 16 and y squared is y squared. So, we're going to call this b. Okay, and I noticed that when you factor this formula out, it can equal this. That looks like FOIL, right? So I put a, which is 3x, like the FOIL pattern is a plus b multiplied a plus b. So we bring up here from our formula, which we figured out earlier, so 3x plus 4y multiplied by 3x plus 4y. So to check the problem, you use the FOIL pattern. So 3x multiplied by 3x is 9x squared, outer term, which is 3x multiplied by 4y is 12xy, multiply the inner terms, 4y multiplied by 3x is again 12xy, and the last term, which is 4y multiplied by 4y, which is 16y squared. Do not forget to put the square. When you multiply two variables together, it's squared. So to simplify this, you're left with 9x squared, and these have the same terms in it, all the same variables, so you can add these together and it comes to 24xy, and you can't do anything with this, so it's brought down to plus 16y squared. Now if you look at this, that's the same problem. Now for the second problem, I have factor 81x squared minus 36xy plus 4y squared. Now with this problem, I can tell that the first and last terms are perfect squared, and it's not like this with every problem, but with this one in particular, I noticed that if I have the square root of both of the first and last terms and I put it into this form, multiplying it back out would result in this equation. So the square root of the first term, which is 81x squared, would be 9x, because 9 squared is 81, x squared is x squared. And the square root of 4y squared is 2y, because 2 squared equals 4, and y to the second power is y squared. Now, knowing whether to make these positive or negative, they are negative because the middle term is negative. Okay, so now to check our problem, we do FOIL. So the first term, 9x multiplied by 9x is 81x squared. The outer terms is 9x minus 2y, so that becomes negative 18xy. The inner terms are negative 2y multiplied by 9x. That's also and negative 18xy. Don't forget to put that negative symbol. And the last terms are negative 2y multiplied by negative 2y, which two negatives is a positive, so that becomes positive 4y squared. Simplifying this, you would bring down the 81x squared. These two terms have the same variables and constants, so you would combine like terms, and it was simplified to negative 36xy. And this would be brought down as 4y squared. And if you look at this end result and compare it to the original problem, it's the same. And that's how you do this problem.